As you can see, everybody is out there working hard to restore power. I want to give you a brief update. This morning we stood at 12,000 customers without power, and what we've been able to do is to make a lot of progress yesterday. The weather cooperated. We are standing at 196 crews out there, 4 more coming today, and 10 more online tomorrow. So we have as many crews, more crews that I've ever seen since I've been at NB Power. So we've put all the necessary line workers, tree trimmers, and support systems in place to ensure we can restore our customers as fast as possible. And I'm here to take any questions you may have with respect to where we are today.
How many crews in total is that?
210 crews by tomorrow. 196 on the ground today.
How confident are you in those crews right now with their abilities with the upcoming storm?
Well, I believe those line workers have done extraordinary work, including contractors and tree trimmers. And they're ready to go. We are concerned about them getting tired, but they're showing no signs of giving up. They have a lot of courage, and we are encouraging them all the way. And our customers have been very understanding and encouraged them along the road.
So what is the game plan for tomorrow's inclement weather?
Well, we're basically dispatching as many people as we can in the local area. So we're moving people before the storm to make sure that they won't have to deal with the difficult driving situations that the storm may bring up. We are also increasing the number of crews. Like I said earlier, 10 more crews will be online tomorrow. And we will continue diligently, safely, and as quickly as possible restore power.
Where are those extra crews coming from?
Some are coming from Hydro-Quebec, and some have come lately from PEI as well.
What's your biggest worry for tomorrow, heading into tomorrow? It's kind of unexpected. There's been weather systems that have brought things that we never thought that they'd bring. So what's the biggest worry?
Well, the biggest worry is the preloaded ice on the trees and on the lines today that we have, and we've restored so many customers. So customers have had power now for some for hours, some for a few days. It's always disappointing to have to go back and deal with the same kinds of issues, a day or two later. And so we're preparing our forces to go back in the most needed area. We are addressing, particularly today, the people that have been longest without power. We are reaching out to the warming stations today with people face to face dealing with the most vulnerable customers who are in dire strait for necessary things like firewood and water. We are mobilizing through the help of local customers, partners, how we can facilitate access to firewood and water as we speak. We will do everything we can to help alleviate the situation for our customers.
You said that you find your customers understanding for the most part. Are you running into some impatience or anger though?
Yes, we do have some people that are getting frustrated, and some that I actually personally communicated with in the last couple of days, and they really appreciated that we are returning every call and we're answering every email. Our communication staff has done a wonderful job through the social media. We're getting applauded for that. We've been able to respond to a lot of these concerns firsthand. What we have done too is for people that have been without power for longer than 7 days, we are personally calling them before they call us. And we had some feedback this morning actually that they were touched by the initiative that we would take the time to call them, and they know how difficult, and they were empathizing with our situation. So we have to continue to be right in the field, and we're moving more and more people directly at the warming station, and this is where we see where the people are most in need, and where they're giving them first-hand information face to face.
In areas where it's really taken a long time, what are the nature of the problems you're finding there? What is the nature of the problems you're finding in those areas? Is it just inaccessibility of some of the lines, or extreme damage, or a combination of all that?
There are a number of different issues. Actually, our system, our poles and lines have hung up very well. We don't have many infrastructure damage, but we have an incredible number of trees on the lines. And you know, typically when we have a storm, you'll have one or two impediments on the line and you can return the line. We had a situation when you have to move 50, 60 trees. This is a huge amount of branches, and the access is the other issue. First, the road access. You know, some of the trees have blocked the road, so we have to basically plow the roads, cut the trees to even get to the lines. So we've used snowmobiles in some areas. In some area we couldn't get at all, so we worked with the dairy farmer, and we got him hooked up with a generator because he was going to lose some, some cows and some of his products. So we're working closely with customers. We stepped up our numbers in our contact centers to make sure they can get access to us. And anyone in dire strait situation should be calling us. You know, we will do whatever we possibly can do to help them out. The third issue is that we have a lot of subdivisions, even in urban areas, in the backlot constructions. And that means that there's no reach for our boom trucks. There's no way to get there. So actually we have line workers on spurs, you know, climbing up poles, and that really slows down the restoration efforts. One of the things we've had in the past is that we have been seeing storms where we could on average 3 to 4 hours resolve most of the problems. This is not unusual to have 7, 8 hours and some over multiple days to restore, you know, a dozen customers. So the magnitude of the trees and the access to those impediments on our lines have been really huge. This is why I do compare this storm to the ice storm of 1998, and I would say that this one had more impacts on our customers.
Question or?
Oh, sorry.
Hello?
Yes?
Okay. Hi, it's Allie from the Canadian Press. So is it still Tuesday, the end of Tuesday, that you hope to have full power?
We're still working to that plan to have most customers powered up by Tuesday. However, there are a couple of concerns. One that I've expressed earlier, the upcoming storm. We cannot, assume that the new storm will not have any impact. So if that does have more negative impact, then that will go further than that. But we are certainly focusing on the customers that have been without power for the longest. And we will not give up on those. We will continue to work maximum effort until we get everybody restored. There will be some odd, isolated case where it is totally inaccessible that it will go into the new year.
Mm-hmm. And you mentioned that you're reaching out to the most vulnerable. Are those the people who have been without power the longest, or are there others included?
Well, most of the people that would have been without power longest are the ones that have gone to the warming stations. They were okay, for instance, for a few days, but now they're running out of firewood, and they're worried about pipe freezing. So, these are the people that don't always have the means to get some of the extra resources, and we will make sure that we work closely with the local organization. I do believe the regional organization have done a tremendous job in supporting these people, and we're working hand in hand with them.
Okay, thank you.
I was talking to one person down at St. Stephen. He was saying that in the future, perhaps MB Power should look at clearing more trees away from the lines. Will you be looking at things like that in the future? Will you be going over what happened in this case and seeing if there's anything you can do to prevent this kind of wide-scale
Well,
outage?
we know that with the climate change, and especially in the southern region where you get these freezing rains, near zero temperature situation, it's the second now major storms in 25 years of that magnitude. And we know that the best prevention is to clear and cut trees. It's always been an issue with our customers, especially in that area, to remove trees. And as you can appreciate, a lot of people have back lot. They don't want any wires in the front lot, so the The wires are put in the back lots, and then they put these beautiful trees that are incompatible with power lines. And when you have an ice storm of this intensity, it does cause severe damages. So we will work closely with our customers. We've already started the process in the last couple of years. We are getting resistance, and we certainly believe that with this storm, we will have more ammunition to work with our customers to say, you know, we need to get a balance here between trees and obviously leave enough clearance so that we don't get into these situations. So we'll continue to work closely with the municipalities. I've talked personally with some of the local mayors before the storm, and they understand it, and I think this will give us some real incentive to work closely with our customers and get a better appreciation of why we need to trim trees, which we do, but we have to do even more in the future.
Can you give an update of what's going on in Canal and St. George?
Well, we have a number of situations. I don't have all the specific details, but I can tell you there are, in the St. George area, some have been hit the hardest. Again, access is an issue, and again, we have crews now dispatched everywhere. Like, there's not a single area that has, let's say, greater than 100 customers that would not have crews around. Earlier in the week, we had to spread them around, but now with 200 on the ground at the end of today, we will have every area well covered.
I know it's early to talk finances, but is there some kind of, or was there some kind of reserve plan for something like this to happen so that you can, or who does pay for the outside crews to come in?
Well, look, we have these kinds of arrangement across utilities. Whenever we're in crisis, we settle the bills after. We do have the responsibility for it, but we also benefit in the past few years when we went out and helped Nova Scotia and helped Maine and other utilities. So in the long run, it evens out. I would even say that NB Power has been more often out there helping neighbors than we've received help in the past 10 years. We've actually, so when you look at the long run things, yeah, there's a cost right now, but we had some revenues in the previous years. But at this stage of the game, our concern is to restore power safely as quickly as possible.
We switch to French.
Yeah, oui, bien sûr.
Ok, voulez-vous faire votre